Hi everyone, my name is Sachin Pulil, and in 2019 I scored a perfect 340 on the GRE, and now I'm a digital GRE coach. So today I'm working with Leap to give you guys 5 tips for the GRE in terms of preparation, on like techniques you can use in the examination, questions and all that stuff. So without any further ado, let's get to tip number 1. So tip number 1 is on which resources you should use. Okay, so the number 1 question I get asked is, which resources did you use? Which resources should I get? So my tip to you guys is, first, get the ETS official guide to the GRE. So this book is crucial to your preparation because you will not find any better resource to introduce you to the examination rather than this book. Okay, so definitely get this first. It has the questions that are exactly like the GRE, and it also comes with 2 free practice tests. And plus you will learn pretty much everything you need to know about the examination through this book. Now, of course, this book lacks in questions to practice. So in terms of practicing, I suggest you get another GRE prep book. So there are many GRE prep textbooks out there. You can get any one. They're all pretty much the same. So you can choose anyone that you especially like, and then just stick with that for your preparation. When it comes to vocab lists, again, people ask me, okay, what is the best vocab list out there? There is no best vocab list out there that is going to guarantee you an amazing score. It's all about the strategy of your preparation and how well you retain the words. So then when it comes to vocab lists, you want to make sure that you get 2 different vocab lists, okay? It does not matter which one. Again, they're pretty much all the same. So get 2 different ones because you want some variety in your words. You will find that when you get 2 different sources, a lot of overlap words, right? And this is okay, this is normal. So besides this, you also want to try to write down the words that you don't know when you are doing GRE questions, GRE practice tests, or even just, reading casually on the internet, or maybe you're reading some articles. So wherever you come across words you don't know, write it down and add it to your vocab lists. Okay, so tip number 2 is regarding how many words you should learn. So this is another question that that students often come up with, which is, and the answer is that the number of words you should learn is different for each person. If someone has a really good control over the English language, then they only need maybe say 500 words to ace the GRE. But then if you are a beginner to the English language, you might need 1500 or even more words to get a good score in the GRE. So there's no true actual amount for everyone to learn in order to get a good score. So my strategy is to keep learning words and don't count them. Because it doesn't matter how many words you learn. If you learn like 1,000 words and your friend learns like 1,500 words, that does not guarantee your friend will score higher than you. The number of words you learn does not really matter at all. It's all about learning as many words as you can right before you enter the examination. So don't count your words, right? Just keep learning if you feel like your vocabulary is lacking. And in the GRE, when it comes to actually writing the test, oftentimes you will come across words you don't know. And that's natural. It's like a universal law in the GRE, where if you write the examination, you will definitely come across words that you don't know, right? And this is going to be true for every single person. It's nearly impossible to know all the words in the GRE examination. So what you should be aiming for is to try to recognize at least 80 to 90% of the words that you see in the examination, and then that'll be good enough for a top GRE verbal score. All right, so tip number 3 is regarding reading comprehension. So this is a section that many students struggle with. So I have a 3-pronged approach for you guys in order to tackle the section. The first thing you should do is you need to familiarize yourself with English at a higher level, right? And this means reading articles where they use English, where they use like high-level vocab words, similar to the GRE vocab words. The reason why you want to do this is because you want to try to familiarize yourself with that level of English, so that when you come across the same level of English in reading comprehension questions, you'll be able to answer them much better, and you'll be able to understand these passages much better, right? So make sure you familiarize yourself with high-level English. The second thing is you want to try to practice SAT RC questions. So if you don't know, the SAT is an examination meant for high school students going into undergraduate programs, as in bachelor's degree. For these guys, they have their own SAT examination, which is very similar to the GRE exam. But the SAT passages tend to be a little bit easier to read and understand than GRE passages. So what you want to do is try to practice these SAT RC questions, which you can find just by Googling, and then build your reading comprehension skills from the ground up, right? So these easier questions will serve as a good base for you to start. Once you're, a little bit confident in getting the answers right, then you can move on to GRE RC question. The third thing for RC is you want to try to take notes. Okay, I know that note taking for each passage can seem like a tedious process and a time-taking process, right? And the thing is, yes, it will take a little bit of time. However, it'll give you clarity on what you're reading and improve your overall understanding of the passage. On top of that, most questions ask for specific information in the passage. So instead of scanning the entire text given to you, you can just quickly look at your notes and then figure out where in the passage that particular piece of information is. Okay, so tip number 4 is something called back solving. So back solving is a technique where if you are trying to either revise a question or if you've gone through all the options and you don't understand what the answer is, then you want to try this method. Essentially, okay, let's take for verbal first. Okay, so sometimes what will happen is when you are answering a verbal question, there will be 5 options given to you. Okay, so then you'll go through each and every option and then you'll eliminate all the options. And then after you eliminate the last option, you'll be like, okay, I don't know what the answer is because it seems like they're all wrong, or maybe it seems like they're all correct. And this is okay, this happens a lot. So what you want to do is if you're going A, B, C, D, E and eliminating, then in your second round, go backwards, go E, D, C, B, A. And this is just a small trick so that you can get a different perspective on your problem solving method. Because generally we solve problems from going from A to E. So if you go backwards, it sort of gives you a different perspective. What you want to do is as you go backwards, try to find specific evidence in the passage that either eliminates that option or proves that option is the correct answer. In terms of quant, what you want to do is if you are solving a question and then you get the answer, you go through, you are given some variables, you put those variables into your equations and then you arrive at the answer, right? So then you take the answer and then you move on. Now when you come back to the same question for revision, what you want to do is you want to put that value into the equations that you have and then try to see if you get the initial variables that are presented to you. So the back solving technique for quant will help when you are revising the section. So if you are given some variables and then you put those variables into an equation and then you come up with an answer, then you take that answer and then you move on. Now, when you come back to revise that section, you want to try to put that answer into the equation if possible, and then see if you are getting the initial variables that were given to you. So this will prove whether your answer is a correct answer or not. And finally, we have tip number 5. So tip number 5 is always be in learning mode. Okay, this is probably the most important tip that you will come across. So you guys might be studying maybe 1 or 2 hours or even more per day for your GRE prep. Okay, and that's fine. What you want to do is during the duration of your prep, whatever 3 or 4 months or 2 to 4 months, whatever it may be, you want to be in learning mode. So that means even when you are not studying off the textbook, you kind of always want to be actively seeking out new vocab words or trying to answer, math questions on the side. So this means, if you are, let's say you're finished prepping and, you go on Instagram or Facebook and, you're just scrolling through, what you want to do is you want to try to follow Instagram pages or join Facebook groups where people are preparing for the GRE and, there are some GRE questions that are presented. And just like tips and stuff for the GRE is presented to you. So that, even when you are just casually taking a break, you come across a question and, just try to do it mentally and try to see if you can answer that question and check if you get the right answer. If you don't get the right answer, then you can try to see how they solve that question and then learn that method. And then similarly, if you are, let's say watching a movie or something after your GRE preparation, like after you're done studying, even in the movie, if they are using words that you don't know, make sure you add that to your vocab list, right? Or at least add it to your phone, open like a note section on your phone and add it to that list there. So this will help you just grab words, from your real life, from whether it be through movies, TV shows, articles, whatever. And also, keep answering questions even when you're taking breaks, right? So this is called learning mode, right? Even though you're not directly studying for the GRE, you're always trying to actively learn. And that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed these tips. Make sure you prepare hard. For more GRE tips, you can always follow me on Instagram. I'm always posting new GRE tips and tricks there. And all the best for your examination. Bye-bye.